Hey guys, Rick Stone here from Stony Acres Gardening. Welcome to my channel. Today we're going to do a 5-minute Friday gardening tip, and I'm going to teach you how to cheat Mother Nature just a little bit so that you can get your crops planted a little sooner this spring. So it is currently the 23rd of February, last week of February, and it's obviously not time for me to be planting directly out in the garden yet. But about 3 weeks from now will be the time that I would like to get my peas planted, and maybe a little bit of lettuce, some arugula, and a few of the cool season crops started out in my garden. Cool season crops like to germinate when soil temperatures are between 50 to 70 degrees. A lot of them will start germinating as low as 40 degrees, but really they want that soil temperature that's like 60 or a little bit higher than that. Now I get all high tech. I've got this fancy little soil thermometer that I use, and you don't have to be nearly as high tech as I am, but I like to test my soil temperature. And right now, last week of February, soil temperature is about 39 degrees, not warm enough for planting yet. And it probably won't really be warm enough in 3 weeks as well, because I know we've got some more snow coming and other things like that. So I want to cheat Mother Nature and get that soil temperature warmed up. And the way I do it is by covering my beds with some plastic. Now here we want to use a good solid like 3 to 5 mil plastic, something just like a painter's plastic. We don't want to use the thinner stuff. Even though the thinner stuff is more opaque, if you use a 1 mil, it's not going to stand up to the wind and the rain and the temperatures and everything that's happening out in the garden in the spring, and you're going to end up wasting that piece of plastic. We want to be able to use this plastic for years and years. I usually can get these things to last 5 or 6 years. Basically, all you're going to do is just go out in your garden and you're going to cover that bed up. Now, I like to go ahead and use like some old fence posts, maybe some bricks or rocks to hold that plastic down so that it stays in place and doesn't blow around in my garden. Now we want to try and put that plastic out about 3 weeks before we intend to plant. That 3 weeks should give you plenty of time for that soil temperature to come up. I will expect that by the middle of March, when I'm ready to plant my peas in this bed, that the temperature ought to be somewhere between 58 to maybe even as high as 65 degrees, depending on what the weather is like. So once we get to that planting date, we're going to go ahead and pull the plastic off, get our seeds planted, maybe do a little watering because that bed hasn't had any rain or anything on it for the last few weeks. Then we're actually going to put the plastic back on the bed. Now the reason why we want to do that is because if we just pull that plastic off and plant, guess what's going to happen? Our soil temperature is going to plummet again because it's still early spring. So you want to put that plastic back on, and that is going to help your seeds to germinate. This should really cut the germination time down on your seeds dramatically. For me, when I do this with my peas, I'll end up having my peas germinate in about 7 to 10 days. If I don't do that, it's more like 2 to 3 weeks. And so it ends up giving us a week or two advantage on how quickly our seeds are up and germinated. Once they're germinated, I'm going to go ahead and pull the plastic off, and I'm going to replace that with like a light fabric row cover. That's going to help keep pests out, especially for us. We have a lot of problems in the spring with quail who just love to come and eat our peas. And so we cover that back up with a light fabric row cover. That'll continue to maintain some warmth there and also protect them from the pests. And then we are, maybe as much as 2 weeks ahead of schedule, which is really going to pay off at the end of the cool season because we'll be done with those crops a couple of weeks sooner than we would have been otherwise. That allows us to get our warm season crops planted sooner in June. So this is a great way for you to cheat Mother Nature and get yourself planted a little bit quicker. Let me know if you try this method. I'd love to hear how it goes. I have found that when I do this in late February, it makes a huge difference in how soon my peas and carrots and lettuce and all of those kind of crops are up and growing. All right, there you go. A 5-minute tip on how to cheat Mother Nature this spring. Do it. It's going to help a lot on your getting your seeds started a lot sooner. Make sure that you subscribe to my channel while you're here. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Let me know in the comments what you thought about this shorter format. And before we go, please make sure that you go check out the Gardening Academy. The Gardening Academy is where we grow great gardeners with over 40 different video courses on gardening topics. It's a great place to learn more about how to grow a garden in your backyard. So there's a link down in the description of this video that you can click on. Go check it out. We'd love to have you join us. All right, that's all I have for you for this week. Everybody have a fantastic week. Happy gardening.